Hey, hello everyone. Welcome again to our e-learning portal. So, in the previous session, we have discussed about the modules, and today we are going to start our new module that is based on the exception handling. So, let's quickly start about the exception handling. Let's see the concepts what we are going to learn in this module, and then we'll move further. So, guys, as our today's agenda is regarding the exception handling, and we basically going to learn what is exceptions and how we can handle them in Python and how we can use the statements for that, like the try and catch statement in the exception handling. And for better understanding, we will see a lot of examples on that. That will give us a better idea how we have to use the exception handling and how we can use that part, how useful it is. So let's move further. And first of all, let's have a good idea about the exception handling on the notes, and then we'll move further for the examples. So here, guys, yes, we are talking about the exception handling. Let me just increase the size so that it will be visible for all of you guys. Yeah, the exception handling. So guys, talking about the exception handling, first of all, we will talk about what is exception. So yes, guys, there will be a question in our mind, what is exception? And someone also says it as like a error handling. So we'll also see what is error. So talking about the exceptions and errors, it's basically a thing you can say a thing which is not mentioned in rules, or the thing which is not following the paradigms, the thing which is not following the law. Like I'm saying, this is applicable on everyone except this part, or you can give any kind of input except a string or a negative input. So these type of things are known as exception. So exception is just like a thing which is not defined or which is not obeying the rules. That is called exceptions. And in programming, it might be possible that we have some exceptions, but yes, we have to deal with the exception. Now, what is the reason behind that? If we are not dealing with the exception, then at a user end, let's suppose I'm the user and I'm using that application or a software, and I'm doing something wrong. And as a developer, if someone is not handle that kind of errors or handle that kind of exception, that might be possible that our software get crashed at that time. Let's take a scenario. Let's suppose we have an input box here. We have two input boxes, and our software is doing just a simple calculation. Let's say doing addition of these two inputs. So now, if the person is smart enough and giving like two numbers, let's say 12 and 3, so what that will give you 50. Now that's clear. But sometimes what happens is, let's suppose by mistake or by some, let's say, lack of communication or lack of information, someone will give let's say a character, let's say 12 and b. Now we know that we cannot add these two values because this is not possible. Like, we cannot add a character and the numbers. So at that time, our software will get crashed because according to logic, we cannot add a character with a number. But what we have to do at that time is we have to accept that error, which is due to the user, which is due to the client, because client is giving the wrong input. But we cannot, you cannot end your program here. You have to give an error message that character is not applicable, or you cannot allowed to give any character value, like this type of error message, so that for the next time the client have a better idea about the information, or the user have a better idea about like how we can use the software. So these are the kind of exceptions which can be occur at the time of creating a program. But yes, we should have you can say a better clarity of the errors, and we should give messages for these types of errors. So in this particular module, we are going to learn how we can identify the errors, how we can raise some exceptions on that, and how we can work on them. So now, as we have learned like what is exception, we can have a better idea about the statements. Like, for handling the exceptions, for handling the exception, we have try So that's true. We have the try and catch statement in Python. Although like talking about the catch, in most of the languages it is catch, but in Python we will use except. So when you are using Python, it will be except. But talking about more of the languages like you can say C++, Java, JavaScript, or anyone, it is the except statement. So like in every language you will see like this, the try block, and after that you can have the catch block. Like in Java or any, doesn't matter. But in Python you will see try and except. But more of the people say that it's a try and catch statement. But yes, like talking about the syntax, it will be except here. So like try and except, and that's why it's known as exception handling. But moreover, like talking about the syntax, it can be anything. The only thing which matters is the concept. We should have a better idea of that. So try about the like try and accept statement. So in Python we will use try and accept block here. So first of all we start with the try. Now what is the meaning of try? Like let's suppose if I'm saying okay I will do a work. That means I'm not giving you any excuses or I'm not giving you any reason at the last that why this work is not happening or why it's not done yet. Because I'm saying I will do that work. This means that I have 0% chances of any kind of errors. But if I'm saying, okay, I will try to do that work, then that means it might be possible that I may encounter some error or some exception at that time. Like if I'm saying, okay, I will do the addition of a number. And at that time, if I get a character, then I don't have any option for that. I have to give error. But if I'm saying, okay, I will try to add two numbers, then at that time I'm taking that exception that it might be possible that user can do some errors. Now talking about any program, if I'm saying I'm 100% sure about it, see, it's not possible. It might be possible that someone can give any error and we have to handle that error. So every time when we have a doubt in our scenarios, when we have a doubt in our code, we will use try and accept. Instead of giving it a 100% confidence task, we'll just say, okay, we will try to do it. If any kind of error will happen, we will accept that error and we will give some error message. Like I will try to add two numbers, but if something wrong will happen, we will accept it and give the error message. Now, basically, getting the error or displaying the syntax error on the user part, it's better to give the error message because when the error will happen, it will, you can say, end your program or break your program flow. But if I am giving the error message, it will show the error message and then move further. Just like you can see the ATM, like in the ATM machine, if you are like entering the wrong pin, it will give you a wrong pin error message. It will not, you can say, it will not shut down the machine. The machine will work fine, it is just giving you the error message. So that's the work of a try and accept, that kind of thing. So this is very useful, very important when we are talking about the programs. So definitely we have to use this part. So talking about the syntax of that, it's very easy to use it. Whatever the code we have written till now, we have to just use try, the colons, then we can have the code block here, whatever the code we have. Then we have the accept, and after that we have the error message block here. So it's very easy to use this accordingly. So let's have a try on it. Let's see the practical way and then we'll move further and try and catch statement. So guys, let me open my Python. I hope it's visible to all of you guys. So let's start. Let's suppose here I'm just taking an input from the user. So I'll say a equals to integer the number. Now it's done. And printing the value is a. And after that I'm printing okay program and see. Bye. So it's just like messages which I have printed out. Now I'll just run this code from here. So you can save it anywhere. I'm just saving it in my documents. give me an output. So let's check it out, guys. So it's asking for enter the number. Let me just put it on a full screen. Yeah. Enter the number. So I'm giving that. Now I can see it is saying the value is 12. Okay, program is here. Bye bye. It's good to hit me here there. But let's suppose if I will run this program again, and now I am giving ABC. Now I know this is not a numeric number, but I am doing this mistake. You can see it is giving me error. And right now, this error, because of this error, you are not getting these two values also, because your program terminates here. And that is the reason we should use the exception handling, because this error is not due to the developer or due to the logic. This error is due to the client or the user. By mistake, user has given some characters. So now what we can do here is, instead of taking the input directly, we might have a question, okay, if the user is not giving the correct input, then what we have to do? Instead of taking input directly, what I will do, I will just use try. Okay, I will try to take the input and I will try to print again. If any of them will not happen, then I will accept the error. Let me just correct this. I will accept the error and I will print some error happens, or something went wrong, or any kind of error message you want to print. Now here guys, you can see this is the try block. Now instead of executing it, it will try to execute it. If that will execute perfectly, then it will move further. And if there is any kind of error, then it will go to this accept block, print the exception, and you can see these two lines will be printed. Either the error will be done or not. So now if I run this code, here you can see it is asking for the number. Now if I'm giving, let's say ABC, it is giving some error happens, and then okay, program sends here and bye bye. Now you can see the difference between the previous output and this output. This output looks good because it is saying that okay, some error will be there and now it's working fine. But in the previous, we are getting this type of error message, so it's very tough for any kind of users to like get details before that. But yes, if you are giving a perfect input, or you can say the correct input, it will work fine. If you are giving some error, it will give you the error message and then move further. So that is the work of exception handling, and that's why it's very important when we are creating any kind of programs. So now guys, I'll just show you some program in which we can use the exception handling. Let's suppose we want to do the addition of two numbers. So now we know what is the program for that. We will first of all take one input from the user. Let's say input number one. I just copy and paste this line because it's the same. I'm just changing the variable name. And for message, I'll just change it like enter number 2. And after that, I will print that addition is that is equal to this. Understand? Now if I run this code, I'm giving a number that's 1234. It is giving me addition is 46. Now that's right. But let's suppose here if I run this code again, and I'm giving the number let's say 12 in W, it is giving me error. Now this type of error can be handled only with the help of try except. So what we will do here is we'll say okay, if that kind of error can be here, I will just use a try block. I'll use the try block for all these for. If any kind of error will be happen there, then we will accept it and we will print something went wrong. And that's done. Now if I run this code, now I'm giving it 12 and yes, it is giving me something went wrong. Now this kind of message will be helpful for us for getting any kind of errors. So this is the work how we can use a try and accept for creating a program which is you can say error proof, which will not give any kind of error which will terminate our program. You just give an error message and that will be helpful for the user also. So this is the work how we can use a try and accept. Now let me just give you one more example where you will get to know how we have to categorize the errors. Now let's suppose here guys, Instead of doing the addition, if I want to do the division, I will just copy this part and paste it here. And what I have to do is, only we have to change, instead of addition, we want to do the division, and the sign, that is instead of a plus b, I will use a divided by b. Now this program is also correct. Talking about this program, it is also correct that it is just taking two numbers and then doing the divisions. Now we run this code. Let's check it out. I'm doing 12 and 3. What is given division is 4, which is correct. But guys, let's suppose here I will just run this code and now I'm giving, let's say, ABC. It is giving me something went wrong. Now that's correct. Like if you are giving any character number, it should give an error. But in the same manner, if I run this code again, and now I'm giving, let's say, 12 and 0, which means I want to divide a 12 by 0. Now we know, like in mathematics, division by 0 is not possible. It is again giving me something went wrong. Now let's suppose a person who is confused between both of the errors. If I am giving a character value, then it is giving me something went wrong. If I am giving 12 and 0, again it is giving me 0. That is something went wrong. Now the problem here is how I will get to know about why this something went wrong is there. What is the reason behind it? At a time when I'm giving 0, it is giving the same error message. At a time when I'm giving a character, it is giving the same error message. Now at that particular time, we should have an idea that what type of exception is happening there. Like let's suppose if you're asking something to me and I'm saying I don't know. Like if you're asking where is this department, I'm saying I don't know. If you're asking where is this department, again I'm saying I don't know. So like you don't have any reason why I'm saying that part or why this message is coming. So now let's try to see what type of exceptions can be done at that time. So what Python has done, Python has created, so basically in Python they have created some exceptions. Now in every language we have two types of exceptions. Exceptions, like we can say divisions. So we have exception of two types. One is known as the checked exception, and second is the unchecked exception, like this. Now talking about like the check and the check, we are not going in the deep view of that. The only purpose of like this exceptions are here. We have some predefined exception in Python, like the value error or the zero division error or the, you can say, arithmetic error. Like we can have like lot of them. Now learning all these type of exception is quite a bit tough. We cannot have to learn all these exception, but yes, we can check it out. Like let me just show you. Here what we can do is we can say I want to accept some exception, so I will say accept exception, and then I will hit control space. Now this is a group. Now it might be not possible for all of you guys to see all that kind of exception, but yes, you can see on the screen like import error, indentation error, index error, interrupted error, is a directory error, key error, keyboard interrupt, lookup error. We can have a lot of type of exceptions and errors inside Python. Now the problem is if I'm only writing okay, I will just accept the error, then it is not going to tell me what kind of error it is. But what Python have done, Python have created a class that is called exception. Now exception is a class in which all kind of exception is defined. So what we will say, I just want to accept that exception as E, which means whatever the kind of exception is done at that time, you will just accept it in a variable E. Now you can change that variable name, W, E, or whatever you want. So I'm just giving a relevant name, let's say E. And after printing the something went wrong message, I will say print error reason, and then I will print the value of E. Like what kind of error is that? Now you can see the difference in the program. Now it is saying if I'm giving 12 and 0, it is giving the error reason is division by 0, which means you cannot divide a value by 0. In the same way, if I will run it again and I will give, let's say, 12 and W, it is giving the reason in value literal for int, which means you cannot provide a character value inside an integer value. Now that is giving you a better idea, okay, what kind of error we are doing. Also, if you guys have a very deep knowledge about the exception, you can write the exception name also. Like here, what I can do is I'll say, okay, if I will accept a value error, now you should have an idea when the value error will come. So value error will come when you are given different type of input in the case of the input type. Like if someone is asking for an integer input and you are giving, let's say, some character value, then that is a kind of value error. So I will write here only numbers are allowed. And similarly, if I'm writing here, if you are accepting a zero division error, then at that time you will print infinite. Instead of these two errors, if you are finding any kind of error, because obviously I don't have any idea about all the kinds of error, I have to find only two one. So at that time you will accept that exception and print something wrong. That should be found reasonable. That's it. Now here you have one more clarity that for one try block we can have multiple except block, because it might be possible that inside a try block we can have multiple type of exceptions. So yes, that might be possible. And for one try block we can have multiple except block. I run this out. Now I'm asking for numbers 12 and 0. Not giving infinity because it is a kind of zero division error. Then again, if I run this code and I'm giving, let's say, 12 and 1, assuming only numbers are allowed, which is again good. Now, if I'm giving everything to be perfect, let's say 12 and 6, it is going to be result 2.2. Now, this is the way how you can create your own, create your exceptions. I'm not saying create your exception, but yes, categorize your exception so that you will get a better idea about the programs and how to use a try and except block. So this is a way how we can use a try and except block and how they are working. So I hope you guys have get a better idea of using the try and accept, when we have to use a try, when we have to use accept, like creating multiple exceptions, and like how you can segregate, or you can say categorize different type of errors like the value or the zero division or the exceptions, all the kind of things. So let's move to our agenda for today, guys, which is about the exception handling. We have a better idea about exception handling, the try and catch, but make sure it's not the catch. The syntax is the try and accept. The basically you can say as a syntax it will be try accept, but as a topic, yes, it's a try and catch statements. And the examples we have seen on there. Talking about a try and catch, try is basically the particular code in which we have doubt. We'll just give a try to it, and whenever we are getting any error, we are just catching it with the help of the accept statement. At last, we have a thank you session for all of you guys. So feel free to share your feedback or any suggestions. And also, if you have any questions or doubt, don't hesitate to ask. We are there to help of you. And till the time, do a lot more practice on the try accept. Like try to solve all the kinds of codes which we have done in the previous time. Using the try accept, that will give you a better idea. And we will meet in the next session about the more statements like the raise command, the assert, the try else suit, like these type of things, and we'll cover all the parts in the same manner. Till the time, bye bye guys, take care, have a nice day.